Welcome back to the final episode of the Berrytalks podcast series. And to finish things off on this final episode, I have the one and only Grant Stubbs right here. You kind of want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I am a sophomore on the basketball team. I transferred over last year. We'll get more into that soon, but yeah, I'm grateful to be here at Berry and that Prim's got me here on the podcast.
Yes, sir. Yeah, so to get started off with things, I just want to kind of hear your story on like how you decided to come to Berry and eventually walk on to the basketball team here.
Yeah, well, so it started. I played half a semester at Asbury University in Wilmore, Kentucky. Won't go into too much detail, but you know some things went on, and I kind of knew that it wasn't like healthy for me mentally to still stay there. Wasn't really able to trust the coaches, respect the coaches, whatever. Just couldn't really be there anymore.
Right.
So I had to. Crazy mid-year. I talked to my parents, and we were like, it's probably best if I go. But in that process, you're like, you're transferring in the middle of the year. It's not like, even Division I, you don't see players just transfer in the middle of the year and then immediately they're on teams and like this and that, whatever. So, considering going to D3 to D3, it's like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to play again. I don't know how this is going to work.
Right.
I just knew that the situation I was in was not very good, so I had to get out of it. And so, luckily, Berry was a school that I got accepted in prior to even going to Asbury. And my mom's career coach, shout out Mom. She's amazing, does so many great things for me, and so she helped get all that. It was a little stressful week or so, but I was able to get enrolled, and that's how I'm here.
Sweet. I'm glad you're here and with us at Berry, and definitely that sucks. Like, your journey coming up from Asbury wasn't, I guess, your fit.
Yeah.
But yeah, is there ever like a moment you thought about like giving it up after you like transferred from Asbury to come into here?
100%. I knew in the back of my head, the plan coming in was, hey, I'm just gonna be persistent. I'm just gonna keep talking to the coaches. At the time, Hedgepeth was the head coach and Richter was the assistant. So I'm gonna talk to both of them.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna throw it out there. Hey, I just transferred over. I want to do anything and everything that it possibly takes to just like be a part of the team in any type of way. Like I remember in one of the talks with Hedgepeth, I said, I will fold and clean everybody's laundry. I will do whatever. I said, I want to be around the guys but the more important thing that I told him was like, hey, I want to try to work my way to be on the team. Whether that's just a scout player or, like I said, doing laundry, it's like anything.
Yeah.
Like that's all that I wanted. And so I did have doubts, coming over because a lot of that stuff is out of my control. Like I can believe it and trust in God's plan 100%, but I'd be lying if I said that there wasn't times where, where my mind was kind of filled with doubt because I didn't know. I could go talk to the coaches 5 times a week or whatever, but if they tell me no, well, there's not much I can do at that point. I'm just here and have to figure it out from there.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that's kind of what was on my mind.
Okay. Did you I guess going back to like Asbury, did you get recruited to go there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I did get recruited to go there, and I was super excited about going there.
Right.
As I'm sure a lot of the recruiting process goes with people, they're talking to the coaches a lot. Hey, you're going to be playing a lot, all this stuff, whatever, which you don't know that until you get there and practice and stuff like that.
Anything could really change
exactly,
once you get there.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
And but yeah, no, I was pretty locked in, getting ready to go, fired up about it.
No doubt.
So that's when it started to turn. But,
yeah. So you kind of want to share more of like, I guess, the walk-on process of like here, like walking on here.
Yeah. So when I got over, I settled in for about a month or so, just kind of like feeling everything out, figuring out kind of the plan coming in, like I said, was to try to just get on the team somehow.
Yeah.
Ended up meeting a guy who asked me to play intramurals. And so in the meantime, I was like, I'll go talk to the coaches and let them know that, hey, I'm a random guy just transferred over.
Yeah.
And which Hedgepeth recruited Drew, one
Right.
of my best friends I played
Okay.
with in high school, and Richter knew me as well. And so they kind of knew of me, and obviously I knew of them. And so I was just like, I just got to keep letting them know that I want to play. Like I just have to keep telling them.
Yeah.
And so I kept going to them, whatever. I think at the time that's when Hedgepeth was leaving, or he was on the verge of like leaving to go to UAH. So he couldn't really give me an answer. He didn't really know what to tell me. He was like, it's fine if you play pickup with the guys, when the season's over. But I was trying to join like the team like mid-season, which was like kind of crazy.
It's hard to really get on the team. Yeah.
Right. I kind of knew that wasn't going to happen, but I was like, I want them to know that I'm trying. I'm trying to, at least for the future. And so he told me they couldn't add me to the team and all that, and that's when I played intramurals, and I was like, well, I'll meet some new guys, make some great relationships around campus, get kind of comfortable, get to know people, and there's more reps I'm getting for basketball, and so that was fun. But then after that was all done, and I got to play pickup with the guys and meet some of those great guys, and like that was awesome. I'm like, man, like still though I don't have an answer. I don't know. Like this has been great. It's been fantastic, but I've worked all through high school to where I want to be on a college basketball team, and I believe through my hard work that I'm able to be on a college basketball team.
Yeah.
And so it's definitely tough mentally and exhaust myself physically just to get that one opportunity. And yeah, so do you want me to go more into like when it like kind of happened, or just kind of okay? So the rest of this next semester, to finish out the school year, like didn't get an answer, like wasn't on the team at all, nothing. So I'm going into summer just kind of like, oh boy, I don't know what's going to happen. I think at that time Hedgepeth had left and Richter became the head coach, right at the end of the school year. And so I talked to him, and he's like, well, kind of just reiterated what Hedgepeth said. Don't really know right now, not sure what numbers are looking like for recruiting and all that. You knew Chase and Jordan and Blake or some of those other guys, and they decided to go other places or not come back and all that, and that I guess helped with me being able to get a spot on the team.
Right.
And so Richter was like, let's just communicate over the summer, because I love how persistent you are and talking with me, and we could possibly make something work.
Yeah.
There's no guarantees there, obviously. Going into the summer, text him a lot and try to set up calls and all this stuff, and still really nothing. Whatever. All I could do at that point was just trying to continue to keep working hard and just see what happened.
Did you like ever show him like? Did you have like film of yourself like during
That's a good
high
question.
school or whatever that?
No. So didn't. No film. There was no tryout even.
Wow.
Which is, I know maybe a lot of people, that's probably what they're thinking. You walk on. Well, you got to go through a tryout or something, right? I didn't. It was none of that. Okay. So in the summer, cool. Drew called me. He's like, hey, like, have you talked to Richter recently? I was like, a little bit. Like, I've texted, whatever. He's like, well, I think like he's about to give you a call. Like, good news. I was like, oh, okay. Like, this is middle of the summer. It's getting closer to, to school time again, all this stuff. I'm like, this is nice. So get on the phone with Richter, talk for about 15 minutes. Just answered prayers. I mean, he was, and I'm still grateful till this day that he gave me that opportunity. Yeah. He's like, hey, I said, man, I love how you continue to, talk about how much you want to be a part of the team. And, he's like, that doesn't come with any guarantees that you'll play, that you'll even dress out, or that you'll travel, or this, that, and whatever. He's like, but you're a guy that represents our culture and a guy that we want to add to the team.
That's crazy, yeah.
And I was just, that moment was insane.
Yeah.
Like, I was just thankful, grateful, like anything.
Because you put like all that hard work from like you said, like the countless hours like during the summers and like playing intramurals too.
Exactly.
And I see like I actually played against him like a few times during intramurals, and you like had your camera set up, had the film going just to like.
I was making videos about it and stuff, just kind of documenting
the journey.
Yeah.
Because that's what a lot of people want to see, and that's honestly why I have you on the podcast. Because like you already know like what it takes to get to that point, you know.
Yeah.
So that's definitely cool. But so you're on the team now, and like you're about to go into like your first like few practices. So you kind of want to share like how those practices like were like going into the team, like what did it look like?
Yeah, well, as I said in my kind of last talk with Coach, there's nothing guaranteed. So I was like, well, there shouldn't be any pressure on me. Like I'm going in just trying to play my hardest. Like I got to play pickup, like I said, with the guys like in the spring, like prior to that. So like, so I've got to know some of these guys. Like I know I can play and all that stuff.
You can compete with them.
Right.
Yeah.
And but I think it's definitely a different level than Asbury was. Just better players and more structure and all that stuff. But it was definitely like, oh man, I hadn't been in a college practice in like a year or so. Yeah. Like, this is so immediately, there's things that I knew, I got to get quicker. I got to, once I get kind of comfortable, I got to, bring a lot of energy and all this stuff. You don't want to be that guy who's just the walk on that doesn't know so many people and you're already just trying to like boss everyone around. Like, you can't do that. No, that wasn't my role or anything like that. But it was definitely a fun experience. I think I was just smiling a bunch, just glad to be there. And just like, hey, whatever happens, I'm on the team now. That's just
like take it all in.
Right. Just kind of take it all in.
Embrace it.
Yeah.
Okay. So did you like, I guess like going into your first few practices and like just being on the team for the first few like weeks or a couple months, did you feel like welcomed right away, or did you kind of have to like find your place on the team?
Yeah. I think that's the great thing about the team we have is that they made me feel so welcome.
Okay.
So
cool.
Especially, the seniors like Brax, Jacob, and Parker, those being like the top dogs, especially me coming in, maybe that's more like intimidating, like I don't really know them. They're the older guys, whatever. But I mean, it seemed like I had known them forever after a couple conversations. Wow. And of course, our sophomore group is very close.
Yeah.
And like I said, Drew's on the team, so that helped or whatever. But I mean, all those guys were just welcomed me with open arms, and we're just glad that I was a part of that, and that just made the process just so much easier.
Yeah.
And I'm so.
You kind of want to share like what Drew like had like an impact on you, because you brought him up a good bit.
Yeah. So. Well, so we played high school ball together. He transferred to my school junior year, so we played the last 2 years of high school together.
Okay.
Our relationship just strengthened because we would always be in the gym together, working out, shooting, running, whatever, you name it. Like we're doing that together.
Yeah.
And so we both had dreams to go play in college, and we were kind of saying you know how cool it'd be if we could play in college together. Like that'd be awesome.
Yeah. He
ended up going to Berry. I went to Asbury. It's like, oh, okay, we both going to do our own thing. Like it's awesome. And then bang. So
you're back together.
Reunited. Like it's just crazy how things work.
That definitely is, yeah.
But he definitely motivates me, and I'm very appreciative of our friendship because I think we both make each other better, and he definitely helped me in my process to help get my foot in the door for sure.
Oh, okay. Yeah, for sure. I'm glad that he was a great help for you to get here at Berry. So what kind of helped you like stay motivated when you're like, you're obviously sometimes not getting those same reps or like not even getting enough minutes at all. Like with Berry, and it's not like just because you're like skill level. It's just you got to get used to playing at college level. But how do you stay like motivated during that process?
It's a great question. There's definitely some ups and downs.
Yeah.
Excuse me, but I think it all comes back to just like the gratefulness of getting the opportunity. It's like I worked so long and so hard to get there, but I didn't, no one had to give me that, so I've thanked Coach Richter a million times for just letting me be on the team.
Right.
And so in times where I'm maybe those thoughts creep into my head and all this and that, it's like, well, hey, I don't even have to be here, so I'm just glad that I got the opportunity. And with stuff like that, my role coming in, it was hard. I kind of knew what I was getting myself into. I think that just said, hey, I still got 2 more years. let's just keep getting better and better and better now. Let's make these other guys better, playing against the guys that are going to play in practice. I'm going to try to see how good I can make those guys going against them and stuff.
Yeah.
And it'll be fun. And then I'll just continue to get better over time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely feel like that is like the best way to go about it. Just take it like one day at a time and like really just you're eventually going to get that,
Well, I appreciate
that call to get some minutes. But going into like the next question, you kind of already discussed like some people like who definitely like helped you like on the team. Do you kind of want to share more like on like the upperclassmen or like the vets on the team who kind of help you adjust and kind of get you where you're at now?
Yeah, I mean they're all leaders, so whether it's in practice or lifts or just off the court if we're all eating dinner or whatever, those are the main voices, the main guys.
Yeah.
But they don't like look down on you. They don't make you feel little. They just make you feel like a brother.
Yeah.
And it's a whole brotherhood, and I think that was the key to our success this year was those guys leading the way. Being able to talk to them as easy as anyone else. Them always saying, hey, if you need help going through a play or something, text me, let me know, or let's go through it.
Okay.
Or hey, I can ask them questions. They helped guide me in the right direction, and just all super positive and just genuinely great guys.
Yeah.
So
yeah, definitely. I definitely at like a bunch of like other colleges I've known that like the leaders could tend to be like very selfish.
Yeah.
And
like we're doing it my way.
Doing it my way. Yeah. And like that like the team chemistry and just the overall like environment is just not as great.
Yeah.
But I know like from seeing you guys, like from seeing Barry basketball, like you guys are definitely like tight knit and like you guys are not like superior over one another. It's like more you are on the same level, like trying to get better together.
Exactly.
And yeah, I had like my very first episode was actually with Braxton, so I got to talk to him about that, and he kind of discussed his point of view as being a vet and just being able to kind of help you guys grow, but also like help them grow as well at the same time.
For sure, it's definitely a win-win, and it started with them, leading us, and they did it in all the right ways.
Yeah,
and so
for sure.
I'm thankful for that.
Yeah. So kind of like going into your like breakthrough of like, you're already you're first on the team now, but like you've definitely been on the team for like a full
year
season
or so.
now.
Yeah.
So was there like a specific moment where you felt like something just like clicked, where you weren't just like someone who was in like a body in like practice, but you're kind of like more than that now? And the coaches started to like notice you. Yeah.
Well, I definitely think that, it helped getting encouragement from the coaches and stuff. You know, Richter acknowledging, hey, like, I know you have a super hard role and all that stuff, but, just like encouraging stuff. You're doing great in practice, with our guys, playing against guys and all that stuff. And so, like I said, coming in, I knew that it wasn't going to be exactly how I wanted. I mean, everyone wants to get, play a million minutes and this and that, whatever. With my situation, I knew that wasn't how it was going to be, and I accepted, I understood that. So I took the approach, well, hey, I'm going to try my best to do whatever the team needs and help those guys out and stuff like that. And so I think playing against those high-level skill guys and being in more and more of those college practices helped me realize things that I needed to get better at.
Yeah.
Quicker and taking better angles on defense and, helping me. All of that helped me so that I can make a great plan this summer so that I can work my tail off and then come back, be better individually, but so that I can also be better to help our team.
Okay. Yeah, that's definitely okay. Yeah, that's definitely a good way to approach that. Just take everything like one at a time. Kind of learn from what you did this year and apply it during the summer.
All the plays and all that stuff, getting more familiar with stuff, and now I can really master all that going to these next 2 final years.
So like kind of diving into that. So after like this season, what do you think like kind of helped you stand out versus like some other players on the team? Like, what do you think? Like, that could be whether, like, defense, maybe your IQ, maybe your energy, just, yeah. You kind of go with
Like
that?
I said, defense, I got to get some, I'm going to work on this summer. Get
Yeah.
my feet quicker.
Get the feet quick.
But I think, IQ and practice helped. I usually was playing as one of the better players in the opposing team, like on scout team and all that stuff. So that helped me, because if it was like, hey, this guy drives nonstop to his right, and he'll try to go in contact layups. That's all I was doing to those guys. So I was like, okay, if this guy, a different guy that we're scouting, if I'm playing as him and he's just a knockdown shooter, well, I'm getting that free opportunity
shots,
to just, I'm pulling from deep, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I would hit some of those shots and all that, and that made me better as a player and made me more like skillful and all that stuff. And I think that helped me a lot, develop a lot more skills, and it was still fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, so how do you prepare, like, mentally, knowing that every minute is earned for you, especially, and not just given?
Well, I think it helps to remember where I started from.
Yeah.
Sometimes I forget about that. I get caught up in the moment of the right now, which it's good to be in the present, right? But and not dwelling on the past and looking too far in the future. But sometimes I'm like, man, like, I wish it would be different right now, blah blah. Instead of thinking, hey, like, where did I come from compared to where I'm at now? And like, what all did I have to do to get me, where I was to where I am now?
Yeah.
And what's the plan going forward so that I can continue to get better? And so I think that, I just think that having that type of mindset through it all is just the way to go about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. Alrighty, so what has this journey, like, kind of taught you about yourself, not just as a player, but also as a person?
It's definitely taught me, excuse me, I think my relationship with Christ has strengthened a bunch. And not saying that just when things aren't going well, that's when you should always, reach out your hand and go to him, but just knowing that he's always there.
Yeah.
And trusting that plan. And something that as I was kind of documenting my journey and continue to, that's something that I'm trying to, also share as well, and being truthful and honest about my walk with God and how that has helped me. And so I think that has been, a big thing that I have leaned on. And so when those thoughts of doubt or worry or this and that comes into play, I have to kind of remind myself, like, why am I doing that? I say that I'm trusting God and his plan that he has for me, but then I'm worried and I'm doubting and all that. So I have to kind of like get back into that mindset, and I think that has kind of helped me along the way. What was that one again? That I don't think really just making me better as a player.
Yeah, as a player, not just as a person, player, but as a person.
As a person, I think it's definitely taught me, persistency.
Yeah.
Just whatever you want to accomplish, whatever you want to achieve. If you go about it in the right way with a positive attitude, even when things get tough, and you continue to work hard, I think that it always seems to find its way back to you.
Yeah.
And
I was saying, I feel like the very common answer for everyone that's been on this podcast series has said their relationship with God is like the main thing that's been helping everyone through it. And I feel like that's such a good way to like build a relationship with, and that's like whatever religion you're in, like not just Christianity, but just building a relationship with God. Has being a walk-on like kind of changed your view on like work leadership and just like overall success?
Yeah, I definitely think so, because you may think that other people may look at you as down here or this and that, but I think that giving you that type of mindset is just kind of like, well, I'm going to show you the type of player that I am, because I'm going to keep working my hardest, and I'm going to show you that I'll be like the hardest working player out there on the court. And so, some people may look at it as like just because he's a walk-on, like that means that he's not as good as those other players and this and that. And so that's where I like take that personally. It's like, I want to change that narrative.
For sure.
I know the player that I am. I know that how much work I put into it. So, yeah, I want to prove to some people, but at the same time, like, I want to prove to myself, like, I know I can do it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I feel like, also, like, being a walk-on, like, you kind of have, like, that extra chip on your shoulder.
Right.
Like, you know, you want to prove a point.
Exactly.
And something that, like, I was thinking about that kind of reflects is, like, Jordan. Like, MJ.
Yeah.
Like, his journey, like, going to the league. And you know how, like, he got cut from, like, his high school basketball team and all that stuff. So I kind of just, that correlates with that.
Yeah.
I feel like, and he proved himself. And you are definitely doing the same. I feel like, especially here at Berry. And hopefully, I'm hoping that you get the minutes that you do deserve
I appreciate it.
later on. But, so what is one thing you wish more people knew about, like, being at the D3 level or just walking on to basketball or, like, any sport in general?
Well, I think especially for a lot of, like, high school basketball players or athletes that want to play at the next level, they're all like, their eyes are just D1. If it's D1 or nothing, D1 or nothing, D1 or nothing.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was the same way, you know.
Yeah.
It got to a point where I was realistic with myself, you know. But I think that's what everyone thinks. If I don't go D1, I'm a failure. Like, that's it, whatever. No, like, I remember watching the podcast with Brax and, like, hitting on what he was saying, like, 3% of athletes go out of high school to play, 1% go pro, whatever. So, I mean, just thinking of that 3% right there out of the amount of athletes that go play, like, you know, you're a part of a select few that still get to go and play, even if it's at JUCO, you know, NAI, whatever, any level. It's a great accomplishment. And especially Division III, like, I'm just so glad. I think it's the perfect thing for me because, you know, yes, you can get all your, you know, there's tough practices and still, you know, bunch of games and all that. It's not like it takes away, like, it's Division I's all the way up here and D3's down here. Like, it's the same thing. You still play games. There's still tough practices. There's still working your butt off in the summer and stuff. But I think the relationships, it's more about, like, transfer portal, NIL, all that stuff that a lot of people are caught up in with the higher levels and all this. D3's, like, coaches are always making sure, you know, how are your classes? How are you doing? You know, all that stuff. Just, like, the personal level of it is just perfect. And I think that the team culture is always better because of it.
Yeah. Do you think that, like, you wish, like, do you still wish that you went D1?
I mean, I think that's, like, every kid's dream.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that I would be in the position that I was this year for my whole, you know, career if that was the case. And at the end of the day, the passion for playing and, like, the journey and just the progress over time of, like, working out so hard so that I get opportunity to play. Yeah. Like, I think mentally I wouldn't be able to do that because I'm working so hard, but it's not, like, it's not going to get me nowhere because you got guys that are so much more athletic and skillful and all that, which that's just, like, understanding that. So I'd say younger me would be like, oh, 100%. Like, I wish I would, you know, but now, no, I think I'm glad that I'm here.
Yeah. The only reason I'm asking that is because so I've gotten similar answers from, like, other people, and they're like, you know, they don't regret like not going D1 because like you said, on the personal level at D3 and especially here at Berry, dude, like, the connections that you have, like, the community that's built here is, like, it's, like, unmatched.
Yeah,
and it's like it's definitely not for, like, just with, like, your basketball team. It's more like, you know, Berry as a whole, like, community as a whole here, and you just get to build relationships that you really normally don't see outside of here, I guess.
There's way more emphasis on that.
Right.
I love that.
Yeah. So kind of, like, ending off on you, what is, like, your personal goal for, I guess, coming up to next season for you?
Well, I'd say gonna stick to what I've been doing, putting my head down and working.
Yeah.
Going in this off season with a good plan, saying how can I come back where I will be a better player, I'm helping the team, and where I can make an impact. And that's something that we talked about in our meetings with our coaches and all that stuff. And so first thing, putting the plan together, putting it into action, doing it, and then coming back with a good attitude that I know that I've done everything that I could and will continue to prepare, and then whatever coach decide to do, I'm okay with it. You know, I'm a part of the team. It's whatever's going to be best for the team. And I think that things will work itself out. And I'm just excited to be with this fantastic group, and I know that we're going to accomplish some great things. And Yeah, just glad
sure.
glad to be here.
Glad to be here.
That's right.
Most definitely.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we're gonna end off with some little rapid fire questions. Just to have some fun.
All right, let's do it.
So what do you think is the most underrated part of your game?
Underrated part of the game. I mean, I don't know. I think I could go in and get some rebounds.
Okay, hustler. I mean, that just comes with hustling.
Yeah. Sometimes when I got some left in the tank, I can get up there pretty high.
Yeah.
Been trying to work on dunking a little more, throwing it off the backboard and stuff.
Yeah.
So I think it's off season. I will continue to work on that. Come back, maybe surprise some people. It's always fun to throw one down in warm ups or get stuffed by the rim.
Hey.
But yeah, I'd say just hustling. Try to come out of nowhere and grab a rebound over a bigger guy and stuff like that. And just the effort part of it. Yeah.
Okay. So what's your go-to pregame song? Whenever you're about to get out there for warm-ups.
It's probably, I don't know if I have a specific song, but it's probably just a lot of hip hop.
Hip hop, yeah. No,
just
doubt.
I
feel that's majority of people's. They're getting pumped, a little pump up music.
Yeah, and anything I just shuffle, and then whatever kind of comes on, it just comes on.
Because I know some people. They said country music or whatever, as a and that's
whatever works,
way to go,
right?
Whatever works. So that's why I was just wondering. And finally, what is one word your teammates you think would use to describe you?
Man. Well, I would say kind, but we're talking about more. I feel like in a sense of a player.
Well, it could be really anything.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'd say maybe unselfish. I'll say that.
Unselfish, okay.
Unselfish.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll rock with that.
Yeah, okay. Sweet. Well, I appreciate you joining this podcast with me. So like I said, this is the final episode, so I will not be uploading after this anymore. But going throughout this journey of doing the Berrytalks series, I feel like I learned a lot from a lot of Berry athletes here, and just kind of go on a deeper level of kind of learning about their experiences and kind of relating it to other athletes around the world, D1, D2, even high school athletes. But yeah, so if you haven't already, I would like it if you guys would check out all the previous episodes that I've done related to the Berrytalks series. And yeah, so thank you guys for watching. I hope you like and subscribe. And yeah, thank you.
Appreciate you having me, bro.
Yes, sir.